Ask Reddit by analysis frequent. What was normal when you were a kid, but you never see anymore? Showing up to someone's house without a text or call. I don't remember when that stopped, but it did. Even just 10 years ago my friends and I, all in our early 20s, would just show up at each other's apartments. No invitation, no plans, just showing up to chill and see if there was anything going on. I can't remember the last time someone knocked on my door that wasn't trying to sell me on some cult shit. And I can't remember the last time I just went over to a friend's place unannounced. Now it's just text for a couple days trying to make plans for brunch or whatever, and when we do finally get together the whole conversation revolves around lamenting how little we see each other and how we should hang out more. People just don't hang out anymore. It's fucking weird. Cassette tape innards strung out along the highway, glimmering in the sunlight. I saw one of those this week. It was right outside the senior center. HMM. Parents smoking in a car with kids with the windows rolled up. Or smoking anywhere in general. Restaurants, airplanes, you name it. Using a set of 20 wild encyclopedias as reference for my homework. JFK as president. We used to try to do reports using an old set of encyclopedias and we would look up things to research that didn't exist or happen yet at the time they were published. Memorizing phone numbers. 867-5309. Toys in the cereal box. I loved when you could get a record on the back of the honeycombs box. Fruit bats. There used to be a ton of them in my neighborhood as a kid and every evening you could look at the sunset as twilight set in and see flocks of bats flying around. Apparently, around the time I was in middle school, a fungal disease ravaged the local bat population and they never recovered. You never see them anymore. Funnily enough though, at the time, a local high school girl had this huge campaign to set up bat feeders to help bolster the local bat population and help them survive the fungal disease by giving them easy access to food. Said local girl has since become a federal park ranger as an adult and currently works for a state fish and wildlife service. I thought you were going to say that the bat feeders became ground zero for spreading the disease and she single-handedly collapsed the population. Moms yelling from the front door to their kids to come home for dinner. Yes, or just being home by dark. Literally gone from dawn until dusk, maybe popping in for a quick lunch, if you didn't grab it at someone else's house. Candy cigarettes. They're now called candy sticks and they don't have that little bit of red eye on one end to make them look like they are litters. Payphones and answering machines. Where does Superman get changed now? Quicksand in movies and TV shows. Dog catchers too. With those huge nets. Smoking and non-smoking sections in restaurants. Yep. I also remember being on a plane and my side of the aisle was smoking and 3 feet away the other aisle was non-smoking. I smoked around 15 cigs on a 6-hour flight. Still remember the blue haze, and people coughing. Sorry. I quit smoking BTW. Deleted. Being on a small, crowded dance floor packed out with the drunk people waving their lit cigarettes millimeters from your face. Computer paper filled with lightly printed numbers and it had tear-off sides. My dad used to bring lots of it home for us kids to draw on. Dot matrix. I can still hear the sound in my head. Fireflies. I swear I saw them every year, in our backyard or when we went camping etc. Now I never see them no matter where I am, except for a few nights in the summer of 21 after I moved to a new house. It was so nice to see them again. Try letting your grass grow. Still see a lot but mostly even places like a median that only gets cut once a month and I have a ton of clover in my grass that I let flower, cut about once every 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, and make sure you're not killing them during the day. They are black with little orange bits, look 'em up. McDonald's play places. OMG, the ball pit was a festering den of communicable disease. Good old days. Printing out directions from MapQuest. I'm from the pre-internet, AAA triptych generation. You'd order a triptych from your local AAA and AMP. They gave you a little spiral notebook with pages and pages of highlighted maps and AMP. You flipped the pages as you drove. We literally used this to drive from Richmond, VA to Miami, FL. That was a thick triptych. Edit for all you useful tools pointing out that Miami is a straight shot down 95 from Richmond. How do you suggest that 22-year-old women traveling alone in 1996 find their way to their Miami hotel from 95? Stop and AMP. Ask for directions. Buy a map. Everyone knows the most important pages of the triptych are the last 10 for local directions. However, as has been pointed out by PPL who know what they are talking about, all the pages had gas, restaurant and AMP hotel info for that particular stretch. Hope this helps you keep your basic comments to yourself. Fauna books. Thousands of monarch butterflies and bees during the summer. Now my wife and I get excited when we see one monarch BF in the backyard where we planted a bee and BF friendly garden. I was so surprised to see this comment. Monarch butterflies were the first thing that came to mind for me too. I honestly didn't expect to see anyone post about it though. I vividly remember seeing monarchs all the time as a child. I think I've seen maybe one in the past decade or so. People talking about the Bermuda Triangle. Just walking right into an airport terminal and being able to wait right at the gate for your loved one to arrive. The pet fish section at every single Walmart or Meijer. It was always in the back of the store on this huge distinctive wall with multiple sides filled with tanks of multicolored fish. My parents wouldn't let me get one though. I remember when I was a kid, my Walmart had a whole mini PetSmart. Fish, hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, birds were always escaping and flying around the store. Randomly knocking on friends' doors to see if they are home and want to play. Kids still do this TBF. At least near me anyway. Cigarette vending machines. All over Germany still. Please be kind. Rewind stickers on all the videotape cases. Video games only working on channel 3. Or needing a VCR to connect your gaming system to the TV. People renting DVDs. Or even better, renting VHS tapes. Nothing more infuriating than when the asshole before you didn't rewind. Be kind, please rewind. Frogs, large flocks of birds, my dad. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, the 70s, that's a long time to be without your dad, and then reality hit me that I just lost my mom last month and in 50 years she still won't be back. How do you manage? Riding bikes from sun up to sundown. Bike jumps. When I was a kid, every pile of dirt had a bike jump built into it. I haven't seen one in years. The toy department in the basement of the hardware store in my hometown. It was the age of Star Wars and Hot Wheels and Barbies and all sorts of other toys in a 20s 20 feet room. I still wonder if there's anything down there these days just collecting dust. Is the store still in business? Roller skating rinks full. There's one near where I live that's packed every weekend. The owner drives a Lambo. It's wild. Neighborhood kids getting together to play till the street lights came on. Fortunately we live in a neighborhood where our kids have that. Got milk ads. Asking people for directions to their house step by step. Get off the freeway at the exit by Home Depot, then drive until you see the Burger King, then go into the neighborhood that's right behind it. So once you come into the neighborhood, make a left, then you make a right, then after you pass the pool make another right. When you're in front of the park make a left, then make a right at the next stop. My house is the one with a blue mailbox. Popping in a game and have it just start right away. I'm old, 39, and I picked up a PS5 about a month ago. Had to set up an account, go through internet settings, pop in the game I bought to find out it needed an update which took about an hour. I'm glad we have the tech we do. But video game consoles of the past few gen make me miss 90s and early 2000 consoles. Yesteryear. Huge flocks of birds docketing the sky every fall as they fly south for the winter. I never see that anymore. Probably because we've killed about 70% of them. Buying stuff with green stamps and trying to collect the whole pattern set of dishes with them. A phone booth. Calling almost anything you didn't like gay. Nelson, you kissed a girl. That is so gay. Actual demos you could play on consoles in stores like Target. Little Kool-Aid barrels with metal tops and you can punch through with a fingernail. Not much of a drink in them but they were delish. Little hugs. I still occasionally see them at, I think, Sam's Club. Drinking from the garden hose. Aren't we supposed to call them garden ladies? The constant AOL free trial CDs you would get in the mail. Music videos and radio stations. The Apple computers with the clear, colorful backs. We really need to bring transparent electrical devices back. I remember when my cousin got a transparent Game Boy and it looked so cool. When I wanted to call a new friend from school, I looked up their parents in the phone book, assuming I knew their names. Kids playing, riding bikes, all over the neighborhood and not a single adult worried about them. We would stay out until dark. Mom and Dad never thought anything of it. This absolutely still exists in my neighborhood. Never expected it, growing up in a rural town. But when I moved into a village setting I was surprised at how many kids still play in the streets together. General dysfunction and chaos, yet having fun. It was absolutely crazy the things that went on. Everybody knew everybody. There was nothing to do, yet always something going on, and you were part of it whether you wanted to be or not. I guess that's how it goes in a small town. I was a little kid and tagged along running with a crowd that my parents knew. Now, I'm far away and alone. All those people from my past went to an early grave. I'm not part of anything. I love being alone and stable and secure, but I can't help but have nostalgia for the craziness that went down when I was little. You said this so well. And I completely agree. Roly-poly bugs and actual seashells at the beach. White dog poop. I actually know this one. Back in the 60s and 70s, dog food had more bone meal than it does now. Change the properties of dog poop,